Ah yes, hello. And today I'm very excited and proud and privileged to present to you Doctor Who fans out there a review of a story that I find one of the best. I've said this a few times for those of you who have known my channel for quite a long time, that this review is of a story of which I find particularly just it's brilliant. It's just downright. It's a basically a 7-part epic, and it's a particular Dalek story that I just find mind blowing and just extremely exciting the whole way out. Basically, God knows how many times I've listened to this story. One time when I went to France, I must have listened to it about 5 times each day, at least 5 times each day, because it was just such a brilliant story. It was just so good. I mean, this is on an audio format as episode 2 only exists, unfortunately, which is why I want people out there, the guy who recovered Web of Fear and Enemy of the World, I want him to please find Evil of the Daleks just for us. Please find it, because I would love this story, and I've just given away the title of the story, because today is a classic series episode review of Doctor Who, The Evil of the Daleks. Yes, this is a particular review I've been looking forward to most, because now this is the second proper episode of my classic series reviews, and the pilot was the Web of Fear episode review, and that followed on from the Aztecs, and I'll try and put a link for my Aztecs review in the link down below. So, by the way, my sonic screwdriver is running out of batteries, as you can tell. So basically, yes, this story is from 1967. It stars Patrick Troughton as the Doctor, Fraser Hines as Jamie, and it immediately takes place after the brilliant Faceless Ones, which saw the departure of two companions, Ben and Polly. And this particular story was the debut of my favourite companion, Victoria Waterfield, who I recently did a video on why I love the companion. So yes, this story is probably, in my opinion, the best Dalek story that has ever been. Really, it's better than, I say, quite a lot of the new series Dalek stories put together, because despite the fact it's 7 parts long, and some of you may be thinking, oh god, if it's 7 parts I probably won't enjoy it. But there are so many good things about the story which I could just, list, and it would probably go on for ages. I'm just really enthusiastic about this story. So the basic plot is that, of course, it immediately takes place after the Faceless Ones, like I said earlier, and the TARDIS gets stolen by an antiques shop owner and seller, and who stole the TARDIS. He's Edward Waterfield is the guy who owns the antique shop. He stole the TARDIS and tries to use it on one of his experiments. It's like a little spare object for his next future experiments, because basically what he and I think it's Maxtable, who's one of the other characters who he works with, basically are experimenting on various objects to try and travel in time, because they are both fascinated by the concept of time travel, which I find is quite rare of these particular characters in Doctor Who, because it's really only the Doctor who's time travelling and the Time Lords and that. So to see two human characters, just interested in time travel is quite unique. and a bit rare as well. So, and then turns out that when Jamie and the Doctor get there, they realise that all these, I think it's all the antiques in the shop, within the shop of Edward Waterfield, is all, I don't think is not genuine. They're not genuine objects. They are like objects from different time zones. I think that's what it was, and then they later soon find out that Edward Waterfield's daughter, Victoria Waterfield, who is the future, who's the later on new Who girl, is being held prisoner, but they did a cover story for that by saying that she went to Paris. And so Edward Waterfield, who's the father of Victoria, has been completely and utterly stressed by these mysterious creatures that only he so far knows about, which of course are the Daleks. And he then is like, when he then meets the Doctor, he begs the Doctor to try and help him save Victoria, and the Doctor's sort of worried about where is Victoria, you know. And the Daleks, then he of course soon finds out that the Daleks are actually capturing her prisoner, and of course Jamie, the heroic bastard that he is, has a little argument with the Doctor saying, I am going to save her, I am going to save Victoria Waterfield, and the Doctor's saying, no, it's too dangerous, you can't. And then Jamie's like, oh no, so you think I'm weak now, do you? And stuff like that. And I always have to obey what you say. And he's saying, no, I'm not having any of it. So then he storms off and attempts and successfully does save Victoria Waterfield from the Daleks. And then the Doctor is experimenting. Now the Daleks have captured the Doctor, and they are using him as a prisoner to make some experiments for them. So they gave him Dalek, and then the Doctor uses two other Daleks, and he employs the human factor. I think it's something like that. The human factor into the Dalek, which is obviously very bad, and the Daleks saying that the human factor will make them invincible, the most invincible species in the universe. And so the Doctor kind of messes with the human factor a little bit, and the Daleks then have emotions. The Daleks have emotions, and they particular scene where you see the Daleks playing trains, which is kind of cute, but just a bit unconventional for what Daleks usually do, because their most well-known thing, if you like, is of course just exterminate, you're dead. But here you see the Daleks playing trains and having emotions, and it's really quite bizarre. And then the Doctor joins in with them, and then that goes do 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 do, and then on to the next episode. You hear that, because basically the whole story is like a time corridor, and they go through all these different places. I actually forgotten what a few of these places are, but the other place I do remember, and that everyone should remember who has listened to this story and watched episode 2 of it, is that the final place they go to is of course Skara, where for the first time in the Doctor's history and the Doctor Who fans' history, we all witness one of the best things that's ever happened in the history of the Daleks, which of course is the Dalek Emperor. And I have to say that Dalek Emperor looks friggin' awesome. The voice is incredibly deep. I like both Dalek Emperors from 2005 and 1967, but the Dalek Emperor from this particular story I think was more menacing and evil than parting of the ways. So I'm not being, saying... I'm not always saying that the classic series is better, because, this new series does have its moments, like the Dalek Emperor from 2005, and I can't really decide which one is better, Dalek Emperor from Evil of the Daleks, or Dalek Emperor from 2005. I'm not too sure which one to decide on, because they both look pretty awesome. So this one has like a Y sticking out of it, and like attached to like these massive sort of panels around it, and it just looks brilliant. I don't think they'll ever make an action figure of that, so Batman March or whoever's, I probably won't be watching this, but whoever collects figures probably won't be seeing a Emperor Dalek 1967 figure. So yeah, I mean, that's one of the highlights of the story, and seeing the Emperor Dalek for the first time, and the way it looks, the way it was designed, and as for the Daleks themselves, they were very good in it, because this story was believed to be the final end of the Daleks, which fans weren't very too happy about, as years later, when John Pertwee came along as the Doctor in 1972, I think it was, when Day of the Daleks first came back, and it was saying, all Day the Daleks are back. And of course we all know that the John Pertwee Dalek stories are quite underrated. So really, Evil of the Daleks was probably my favourite, one of my favourite stories, definitely in my top 10. I've lost the end bit of the sonic screwdriver. But if I were to recommend a audio story for you, that would probably be the one to recommend. Now, as for characters, obviously we have the Doctor, Jamie. We also have Edward Waterfield, who eventually gets killed by the Daleks, unfortunately, who's Victoria's father. And of course, Victoria gets rescued, and she's brilliant in the story. I love her performance, like the first time we see her in the cellar, and she's sort of crying, and the Daleks are saying, who are you? And then, they're saying eat, and the Dalek says, you've lost a certain amount of calories in the past few days, and she's like, what do you expect? And that's just top notch. So really, yeah, this story's, I loved its script. A lot of people did like Evil of the Daleks script. The novelisation is very rare, so if you ever find it, I'd probably suggest you go and buy it. I've got Power of the Daleks book, but I haven't got Evil of the Daleks, which I really want. So this story, Evil of the Daleks is one of my favourite stories on audio so far. But I don't know if there's any particular other story that really contests with it. I do really like The Abominable Snowman. I'm currently reading that at the moment, as well as obviously listened to it before. I'm just reading it now because I have the book. So yeah, of course, Dr. Patrick Troughton and Fraser Hines are both on top form, and I think I prefer Victoria with Jamie than than Zoe with Jamie. I do like Zoe, and she's a nice companion, but I think I preferred Victoria with Jamie because I thought they were quite well worked together. No, I'm not just saying that because she's my favourite companion. I'm saying it because it's my ideal companion relationship. So the Scotsman and the pretty girl. So really, this practically concludes my review of Evil of the Daleks. So thank you guys for watching my review. I give this story a 10 out of 10. Definitely recommend it. So please take time to listen to the audio, download it, whatever. And I shall see you back for more Doctor Who Classic Series episode reviews. So take care, and bye for now.